Lynn, I spent my entire first month's salary on this necklace. It's for your birthday. I know the ruby is a little small, but I'll work harder and get you a bigger one someday. Chloe looked completely sincere as she held out the black velvet box to me with both hands. I jumped back in shock, stumbling away from her. Grabbing the corner of a table, I looked around and realized I was back at my birthday party. My friends and family were all looking at me with concern, completely confused. I ran back to my room, my face pale. I checked myself in the mirror over and over, confirming my skin was clear and my eyes were their normal dark color, before collapsing to the floor in a long sigh of relief. In my last life, after I put on the necklace Chloe gave me, dark brown scales started growing on my skin, beginning from my stomach. My pupils turned into golden slits. Everyone around me truly began to avoid me like the plague. Chloe was a student from a low-income family that I had sponsored for 10 years. She came from the most remote mountain region in the Southwest. Not only did I pay for her to finish high school and college, but I also got her an internship at my family's company. When she first came to the city, she had nowhere to stay, so I even let her live with me. I drove her to and from work every day, treating her like my own little sister. Chloe always acted incredibly grateful. When she told me she had spent her entire first paycheck on my gift, I was moved beyond words. I completely ignored my other friends who were teasing me, saying I would never wear such a tacky piece of jewelry. Even though the necklace only had a tiny artificial ruby the size of my pinky nail, and you could tell at a glance it wasn't worth much, I thought the gesture was what counted, so I wore it every day. But soon my body began to change. It started around my belly button. My skin became increasingly dry and itchy, and then faint, white, scaly patterns appeared. I slathered expensive moisturizer on morning and night, but it didn't stop the itching or the patterns from spreading. By the time the bizarre skin condition covered my entire body, even the most renowned dermatology experts couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was afraid of scaring my husband and son, so I stopped going home and checked into a hotel to work remotely. But on Thanksgiving, Chloe suddenly showed up at the hotel with a group of my relatives and friends. When they saw my face covered in dark brown scales, they were so terrified they called the police. I was taken away by a biological research institute. Videos of their experiments on me were leaked online, causing a massive uproar. My family was interviewed. My husband, Leo, said I was a vicious person and must have done something terrible to deserve this. My son, Charlie, cried and said I was a snake monster, not his mother. Chloe held my son in her arms, and on the hand she used to hold Leo's, she wore a massive diamond ring. On the day of their wedding, I escaped from the institute, only to be captured by a traveling circus. Because I refused to perform in their woman and snake act, I was beaten to death. Just before I died, I finally learned the source of all my misfortune. Chloe resented that fate had been unfair. She was jealous of my beauty, my good family, and my happy life. So she gave me the gemstone necklace, which was designed to drain my good fortune and transfer it to her. After I was taken away by the institute, she successfully took my place, becoming Leo's wife and my child's mother. She stole the happy life that should have been mine, and left me to die a brutal death. The pain from every club and every whip from my past life was still seared into my brain, a heart-wrenching agony. The memory made my eyes burn red with hatred, and I nearly ground my teeth to dust. Lynn, Chloe said, knocking on the bathroom door. What's wrong? Are you okay? I straightened my dress, took a deep breath, and pushed the door open. Chloe stood outside, her face a mask of concern, the urgency in her eyes looking completely genuine. Who could have guessed the venomous heart hiding beneath that facade? Lynn, there's a mirror right here. Let me help you put on the necklace. She opened the box and started to bring the necklace toward my neck. I spun around abruptly, dodging her touch. Just put it back in the box. I'll try it on later when I have time. Chloe's fingertips, pinching the necklace, turned white. Her eyes suddenly reddened. Lynn, I went all the way back to my hometown to have a master bless this necklace. The gift may be small, but the sentiment is priceless. You've probably never worn such cheap jewelry, so I get it if you look down on it. But I spent every penny I had on this gift for you, just to thank you for everything you've done for me, everything I'd done for her. So this is how she repays me? I sneered inwardly. In the past, she would occasionally make passive-aggressive comments, but I always brushed them off as childishness. But having lived this once before, I could see right through her. I wasn't going to fall for her phony act. My family and friends in the living room, noticing I'd been gone for a while, started walking over toward the bathroom. I deliberately raised my voice and looked at Chloe with a hurt expression. Chloe, what are you talking about? I've sponsored you for 10 years. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars to help you get out of the mountains. I even arranged an internship for you at my company. I never asked for anything in return for all of that. You've just started your career. How could you be so reckless with the little money you've earned? Is that how you repay all the effort I put into supporting you? And for you to think I'm looking down on you, that's so disappointing. Was all that education I paid for a complete waste? I grew more and more agitated as I spoke, my eyes even turning red. Everyone knew how much time and money I had poured into helping Chloe. Hearing this, they immediately started criticizing her. Chloe, everyone has seen how much Lynn has done for you over the years. How could you think that about her? Yeah. When you failed your college entrance exams, she supported you for 3 more years while you retried. When you finally got into a state school, she paid thousands in tuition every year without batting an eye. Have you forgotten all that? Lynn is just upset because you're being thoughtless. She wants you to spend your money wisely, not on flashy things like this. Besides, what is a fortune to you is nothing to her. Why not use that money to get on your own 2 feet? Wouldn't it be more practical to rent your own place instead of freeloading at Lynn's house? For years, my friends and family never understood why I went so over the top to help Chloe. So one by one, their comments turned into a litany of her faults, showing their contempt for her behavior. After Chloe got into college, she showed no interest in getting a part-time job, always just asking me for tuition and living expenses. She didn't even try hard in her studies and couldn't find an internship on her own, finally ending up doing odd jobs at my company. Despite being so fortunate to have my help at every turn, she often complained about fate and how she didn't have good parents. Then she'd turn around and tell me I was like a second mother to her, and that she'd repay me one day. Over time, everyone around me saw her as someone who said one thing and did another, and they all looked down on her for it. As everyone pointed their fingers at her, Chloe's face darkened. But she quickly hid her displeasure, clutching the necklace and apologizing to me. I'm so sorry, Lynn. I was being short-sighted and misunderstood you. I'll put the necklace back in the box, but I hope you can wear it every day. After all, it's been blessed by a master 1,000 times. It will be great for your fortune. What a blatant lie. A surge of anger rose in me. I wanted to smash that worthless necklace on her face and throw her out of my house. But that would be letting her off too easy. The more she made me suffer in my past life, the harsher her punishment would be in this one. I managed a gentle smile and tried to smooth things over for her. Let's not be so hard on her. She meant well after all. I'll try it on later when I have a chance and see what outfit it goes with. Chloe's eyes lit up. She quickly put the necklace back in the box, stuffed it into my hands, and pleaded with me to wear it to the office tomorrow. I didn't pay her much mind. I casually set the gift aside and went back to my guests. After everyone had eaten and drank their fill and the party was over, I finally took out the necklace. I took videos and photos of it from every angle and sent them to a custom jewelry workshop I'd worked with for years, asking them to rush order a replica overnight. I ground the original necklace into a fine powder, put it in a bag, and buried it in the garden. For the next few days, Chloe came to see me every morning as I was getting dressed, asking why I wasn't wearing the necklace she gave me. One day, I pretended to give in to her nagging and finally put the replica on, making sure never to take it off. She looked at me and gushed. Lynn, red looks amazing on you. It makes you look so radiant, like you're glowing. I bet something wonderful is about to happen. I just scratched my arm and said the weather must be getting dry lately because my skin felt itchy. In the mirror, I could see Chloe struggling to hide a smile, thinking the necklace was starting to drain my life force. She had no idea that the trap I had set for her was just beginning. Just then my husband, Leo, came back from a business trip. He was all over me, saying how sorry he was for missing my birthday and that he wanted to make it up to me. I pushed him away and said coolly, I'm exhausted from work. Let's just get some sleep. Oh, and I'm taking Charlie to my parents tomorrow, so you can tell the housekeeper not to make us any food. With that, I turned over and pretended to sleep, watching through half-closed eyes as Leo sneakily pulled out his phone and started texting. The next morning, I took my son and left the house. After dropping Charlie off at my parents' place, I got back in my car and opened the feed from the security cameras I had recently installed at home. I watched as Leo told our housekeeper she didn't need to cook for the next couple of days, and sent her off on a sudden vacation. Not long after, Chloe, who was supposed to be at the office, snuck back into the house. The two of them were like a match to a flame. They were all over each other before they even closed the front door. As Leo fumbled with her clothes, Chloe shot him a flirtatious look, her eyes smoldering. Not so fast, Leo. Let's make this a little more exciting. She then walked into my closet and changed into one of my silk slip dresses. When Leo walked into the closet and saw her in that fiery red dress, his eyes practically lit up. Same dress, but it looks so much sexier on you than it does on my old wife. Chloe peeled off his jacket, and they fell into each other's arms. She just got lucky being born into a good family. What does she have that I don't? Leo agreed profusely. The two of them tangled together, wrinkling my clothes. Watching the monitor, my knuckles turned white as I clenched my fists, my whole body trembling. Those two bastards. After their passion subsided, Leo asked, how's the necklace thing going? I haven't noticed any changes in her. Chloe snuggled against him, frowning in confusion. It might be because she isn't wearing it every single day. I'll grind the necklace into a powder and mix it into her moisturizer to speed things up. But don't worry, her skin is already reacting. It won't be long before I've drained all her good fortune and taken everything that's hers. Chloe's expression was sinister and crazed, as if she could already see my tragic end and her own happy future. Hearing that gave me an idea. As soon as the two of them finished their business and left, I rushed home and dug up the powdered necklace from the garden. Then I had the jewelry workshop make a new necklace with a much larger gemstone and had them mix the powder into it. I told Leo the first was going on a business trip and asked him to pick up this new necklace to give to Chloe as a graduation present. When I watched on the cameras as they were together, Chloe was wearing the necklace. Seeing that, I smiled with relief. Half a month later, I came home, dragging my luggage and pretending to be exhausted. The moment I opened the door, I heard the housekeeper scream. I saw her trembling, pointing at the dark brown scales scattered on the living room floor. And there, standing in the hallway, was Chloe. The bare skin on her arms was covered in the exact same things. Chloe, is this some new kind of skincare routine? You've made yourself look like a snake. You scared the housekeeper. I reached out to touch one of the scales on her arm, and she cried out in pain, flinching away. The housekeeper picked up a scale from the floor and saw it was covered in a yellow slime. Oh my God. This is disgusting. Chloe, do you have a skin disease? Is it contagious? She immediately grabbed a can of disinfectant and started spraying it frantically at Chloe. Chloe's face was grim, her eyes glaring at me like a snake. Lynn, why were you gone for so long? The seasons are changing. Hasn't your skin been acting up at all? I feigned realization. Oh, now that you mention it, I said, pulling up my long sleeve to show some faint dark lines. My skin has been really dry and itchy. When Chloe saw the marks on my arm, she visibly relaxed. Me too. That's why I've been using a special ointment. I reached out and examined her hand again, my voice full of concern. This ointment of yours is pretty gross, and it has a nasty fishy smell. Are you sure it won't make your skin worse? You don't want to ruin your face. Your bone structure is already not great if your skin goes bad too. What will you do? At your age, you should be dressing up and looking for a boyfriend, right? Provoked by my words, Chloe waited until she thought I was asleep that night and stole the fake necklace I'd been wearing. She thought she was carrying out her plan by mixing the powdered necklace into my moisturizer, but I saw everything on the security cameras. I pretended my skin was getting drier and itchier, using more and more lotion. Chloe watched me, barely able to contain her smile. One day, while I was out with my son and the housekeeper, Chloe cornered Leo, who had been avoiding her for days. Leo, Why are you avoiding me? When her cold hand touched him, he jumped back 3 feet. Look at you. You're covered in scales, like a venomous snake. You're scaring me. Get away from me. A vicious light gleamed in Chloe's eyes as she shrieked. How dare you say that to me? The only reason I'm like this is so we can be together. I did this for you. Leo shoved her to the ground in frustration and looked down at her. You're a wicked person, and now you're reaping what you sowed. You did all of this out of jealousy. What does it have to do with me? With that, Leo left the house and rushed to find me. He was holding Charlie's favorite ice cream and tried to take my hand with a fawning smile. It's been so long since we've had a family day. I yanked my hand away, not caring about his pride in front of our son. Don't touch me with your filthy hands. Without another glance, I took my son and left, making sure my boy, who hadn't yet been poisoned by those two, was safe. Now it was time to clean house. When I got home, Chloe stormed out of her room, covering her face and screaming at me. Lynn, why aren't you reacting? Why am I the one growing scales? I tilted my head, pausing for a moment before replying. Oh, you mean this? I pulled up my sleeve, revealing smooth, clear skin without a single mark on it. Charlie was just playing around and put some of his snake skin stickers on me. It took a few washes to get them off, and my skin was itchy for a while, but it's totally fine now. Chloe's eyes widened in disbelief. How is that possible? How can you be perfectly fine? She reached out with her hard, scaly hands to grab at my collar, only to find my neck was bare. The necklace? Where's the necklace I gave you? Weren't you wearing it every day? I touched my empty neck, pretending to think. You mean that necklace? Didn't I say it's the thought that counts? I explained with a smile. So to surprise you, I had the necklace you gave me melted down and embedded into the new one you're wearing. It was a graduation gift I spent a lot of time thinking up for you. You like it, don't you? You wear it every day. As Chloe listened, her face turned deathly pale, which made the dark scales covering it look even more grotesque. She fumbled to take the necklace off her neck and desperately tried to force it onto mine. Lynn, you can't do this. I told you it was a gift from my heart to you. What does it mean if you give it back to me? Here, take it back and wear it. I dodged her, pushing her away with a look of disgust. I blended your heartfelt gift with my own. Doesn't that mean our hearts are connected as sisters? Besides, Chloe, don't get so close. That ointment you're wearing smells awful, like snake venom. A vicious look flashed in Chloe's eyes, and she lunged at me, trying to force the necklace on me. Put on the necklace. She chanted, like a woman possessed. I saw her pupils had transformed into golden slits, exactly like a viper's. Just then, her icy hand grabbed me, and I let out a terrified scream. What's going on? Ah, what is that thing? It was Leo. He was back. The sound of a third person made Chloe flinch. Her first instinct was to hide, to keep anyone from seeing her hideous, serpentine form. But then she remembered Leo was on her side. She widened her venomous eyes and commanded him, Leo, quick, grab her. We have to put the necklace on her. But seeing the snake-like woman with a face full of scales and golden eyes, Leo was so terrified he collapsed to the floor, his legs giving out. Seizing the opportunity while Chloe was distracted, I pulled a stun gun from my purse and jabbed it into her side. Ah! Chloe screamed in pain. When her mouth opened, a forked tongue flickered out. She had completely transformed into a snake creature. Fighting back my fear, I held down the button on the stun gun, pressing it hard against her until she went limp and fell to the ground. The commotion was so loud that neighbors came running to see what was wrong. I looked at Chloe, who had fainted face down on the floor, and told the neighbors we had a burglar. Amid a chorus of gasps, Chloe suddenly stirred. She moaned in pain, clutching her head as she struggled to get up. You dare hit me. The moment she turned her face, everyone saw the terrifying black scales. Ah, that's horrifying. Oh my God. What is that monster? Wait, that thing kind of looks like Chloe, the girl who lives here. What happened to her face? That's not Chloe. That's clearly a snake demon. Look, there's disgusting slime dripping from the scales on her face. Oh God, what if it's poisonous? Everyone stay back. Someone call the police to take her away. Realizing she was exposed to so many eyes, Chloe frantically tried to cover herself with her clothes. I held up the stun gun to keep her at a distance while explaining to the neighbors. I found this thing skulking around my house. I never thought it would be Chloe. I pointed to the necklace in Chloe's hand, sealing her fate. Look. She's even holding my diamond necklace. Chloe, I sponsored you for 10 years. I treated you like my own sister. Wasn't that enough for you? The neighbor ladies, who all knew I had taken her in, grew more and more furious as they listened, and they helped me kick Chloe out of the house. I took out a special lock, one that could only be opened by the person who knew the combination. I locked the necklace around Chloe's neck, a smirk playing on my lips. Chloe, I don't want anything you've touched. It's filthy. Since you coveted my jewelry so much, you can have it. You and this necklace should never be apart. Chloe was too weak from the stun gun to resist. The scene of her being scorned and driven away like a stray dog was filmed by the neighbors, who posted it online to complain. Now you can have a taste of the suffering I endured in my past life. But it wasn't nearly enough. The online outrage against her died down quickly. Since no one could find her, people gradually forgot about the strange incident. While I hired a private investigator to track Chloe's whereabouts, I made my own journey to the mountains in the southwest. After a difficult search, I finally found the temple where Chloe claimed to have had the necklace blessed. But no one at the temple would admit to ever handling the object. I stayed at the temple for a few days, and just as I was about to give up and leave, a ragged old man stopped me. Patron, you seem to carry the scent of our sex snake curse. I was startled and knelt down to look at the old man at my feet. His skin was normal, with no trace of any serpentine transformation. The old man's face, hidden by white hair, broke into a smile. He took something from his tattered pocket and held it out to me. It was a blood-red gemstone. My heart pounded. Excuse me, sir. Are you the one who placed this snake curse on me? The old man shook his head, explaining in a low voice, rest assured, patron, you do not have the snake curse. But you have been in contact with someone who has transformed. I calmed myself and asked about the origin of this dark art. The old man sighed. The snake curse is not a dark art. It is a protective witchcraft used by the oldest snake-catching clan in the southwest. Our clan's shamans refine the blood of captured venomous snakes into crystals, originally to protect our people from all poisons. But some in the clan with evil intentions have used it for other purposes, placing the snake curse on others to drain their good fortune and transfer it to the caster. I gave a cold laugh, chilled by the depth of Chloe's scheming. I told the old man the whole story and asked for his help in protecting others from being harmed by contact with Chloe. He fumbled in his tattered pocket for a while and handed me a small, earth-yellow paper packet. The next time you see this person, apply this powder to the crystal, and the snake curse will be broken. When I returned home from the southwest, I was greeted by the sight of Leo on one knee. He was holding a large bouquet of roses, and in his other hand he opened a lavish box. Inside lay an exquisite ruby bracelet. I feigned confusion. What are you doing? Without a word, Leo shoved the flowers into my arms and carefully took out the bracelet, intending to put it on me. Honey, I was so busy with work and missed your birthday. I should have given you this gift a long time ago. I pulled my hand back and took 2 steps away, throwing the flowers right back in his face. Is that so? Then you also know I don't wear cheap things. What's the purity of the rubies on this bracelet? Where are they from? Show me the certificate of authenticity. Leo was stunned by my sudden scrutiny and became flustered. Honey, this. I didn't have time to waste with him and cut straight to the chase. Stop pretending. Chloe gave this to you, didn't she? I already know what's going on. Since you and that demon Chloe are so inseparable, then I wish you two a lifetime of clinging to each other. With that, I threw the divorce papers I had prepared in his face. Leo's lips turned pale as he stared at the divorce agreement, which would leave him with nothing. He gritted his teeth and said, on what grounds? I'm not getting a divorce. I scoffed, threw the screenshots of his affair with Chloe on the floor, and stepped on them, looking down at him. On the grounds that you were a scholarship student my family sponsored. Everything you have, my family gave you. You're too dirty, and I don't want you anymore. According to our prenuptial agreement, the party at fault gets nothing. Now get out. The private investigator had already told me that Leo and Chloe had met up again while I was in the Southwest, which is why he was so eager to give me the bracelet as soon as I got back. Chloe, meanwhile, was hiding in her dorm room, waiting for my fortune to be transferred after I wore the bracelet, so her appearance would be restored, or even improved. On my end, I had the housekeeper throw out all of Leo's belongings and immediately rushed to Chloe's university. I submitted the evidence of Chloe's affair with Leo to the dean's office, filing a formal complaint about her misconduct. At the same time, I posted all the records of their affair and their plot to harm me online. Public opinion exploded. The dean, seeing the incident blow up into a national news story, took me to Chloe's dorm room. Chloe was on her bed, wrapped tightly in a thick blanket, refusing to show her face. Her roommates took the opportunity to complain to the dean. This Chloe has been skipping class for over half a month. She never leaves the room, not even to eat. You say she doesn't eat? Snacks have been going missing from the room every day. It must be her stealing them. And sir, Chloe doesn't even shower. She just stays in that bed. Look, her bed stinks, and there's some kind of liquid leaking out of it. It's so unsanitary. We want her kicked out. Surrounded by accusations, Chloe still refused to show her face, her voice muffled by the blanket. What's it to you if I don't go out? What the hell does my not going to class have to do with you? Get out. All of you get out. The dean's face darkened visibly. He reprimanded her sharply. Chloe, get out here right now. Your behavior has severely damaged the university's reputation. We are officially expelling you. From under the blanket, Chloe screamed in disbelief. What? Why are you expelling me? I gave a nod to Chloe's roommates. On the count of 3, we rushed forward and ripped the blanket off her. Chloe, dressed in a long-sleeved hoodie and long pants, shrieked and instinctively reached out to grab the blanket back. In those few short seconds, her viper-like golden slit pupils and the scales leaking yellow pus were completely exposed. Ah! A snake monster. The dorm room erupted in screams and chaos. Seeing that I had led the charge to expose her, Chloe flew into a rage. Her mouth opened wide, her forked tongue flicking as she lunged at me. Lynn, you bitch. This is all your fault. I was prepared. I swung the stun gun at her neck. Chloe, already weak from lack of food, collapsed to the floor instantly, gasping for breath as she glared at me with those terrifying eyes. The crowd of onlookers recognized Chloe as the snake demon from the recent viral news and gasped. So Chloe is that ungrateful student who steals. A total backstabber. Turning into this is just karma. She deserves it. Not only does she steal things, she steals husbands. And after Lynn sponsored her for 10 years, she has no conscience. It's scum like her that gives scholarship students a bad name. One rotten apple spoils the whole barrel. She's despicable. Chloe struggled to prop herself up, the ruby necklace around her neck glowing with a blood-red light. She gritted her teeth at the people attacking her, finally fixing her hateful gaze on me. You were just born lucky. If your family wasn't rich, do you think Leo would have ever married you? We're the ones who came from the same background. A match made in heaven whose souls connect. Why should I have to rely on your charity for everything I own? Fate is so unfair, so I decided to change it. And all of you, she spat, aren't you just her rich-ass kissing dogs? You're the disgusting ones. Her counter-accusations sparked a new wave of fury, and the students she had insulted rushed forward to attack her. While Chloe was being beaten, I took the opportunity to pull out the powder the old man had given me and sprinkle it onto the exposed ruby. Ah! A horrifying cry of pain escaped Chloe's throat. Her eyes rolled back and she fainted. The curse on Chloe was broken, but her body could not recover. Her snake-like appearance and behavior quickly became headline news. Because it was so shocking, the Biological Research Institute came to the university and took her away. As I was reading the news, a message popped up on my phone. It was my lawyer, informing me that the divorce proceedings had been initiated. Leo, having received the notice, had been waiting outside our neighborhood, unable to find me. He finally went to my parents' house. He fell to his knees in front of my parents and my son, Charlie, repeatedly bowing his head and begging for forgiveness. I saw this scene as I got out of my car, and immediately ran over to shield my family, shouting for security to get him away. Leo grabbed my leg, snot and tears streaming down his face as he cried, "Lynn, how can you just throw away our 10 years of marriage? Even if you don't care about our past, think about our son. Charlie can't live without his father." He then tried to grab our child. I remembered how, in my last life, when my transformation began, he was the one who called the institute to take me away before turning around and marrying Chloe. I gritted my teeth. I kicked him away without a shred of mercy and sneered, "Did you think about our son when you were screwing Chloe? Did you think about our past when you were plotting how to kill me?" I turned, picked up my son, and looked down at the pathetic man on the ground. "You want to be a father now? Too bad. You're a sterile piece of trash. Charlie was conceived through IVF. I used a sperm bank. He has absolutely no relation to you." Leo's face turned ashen, his eyes filled with shock. Just then, security arrived and began to drag him away. Leo struggled desperately, shouting, "Lynn, your whole family are good people. You sponsored me for so many years. You can't just watch me die. Please just give me some money. Don't be so ruthless, I'm begging you." He started bowing frantically toward my parents again. My parents couldn't bear to watch and looked away, tugging on my sleeve and shaking their heads. I handed my son to my parents and told them to go inside. Then I walked over to Leo, squatted down, and said softly, "I won't give you a single penny. But I do happen to know a circus that's in desperate need of a half-snake, half-human performer. The pay is excellent." Leo froze for a second, then his eyes lit up. I took out the circus's contact information and threw it at him. Leo took the business card and left, overflowing with gratitude. Later, I heard that Leo somehow managed to get Chloe out of the research institute. He then immediately sold her to the circus. But before he could even spend the large sum of money he received, his entire body began to rot and ooze pus. The old man had told me that anyone who had deep contact with the snake curse would also be infected by its venom. After sleeping together so many times, Leo was already terminally ill. The last I heard of him was the news of his death. They said that when he died, his body was completely decayed, with black blood seeping from every pore. I was on a business trip in Southeast Asia when I got the news. I happened to be walking past a poster for a circus. Among the various sensational and bizarre attractions, there was a woman whose body was covered in dark brown snake scales. I looked closer and realized it was Chloe. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Wicked people always get what they deserve. The end.